Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harding. Glad to be back with another exciting, incredible episode. New week, December 8th on a Monday here. And again, I have a great returning guest podcast family, as I call all the ones that come back on. This will be her third time on the show. But before I bring her on, hit my music. Let's get it. All right. Once again, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. Happy Monday, new week. A lot of great guests coming up this week as well. But before we get started, you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms. You can follow it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube, BS3 Network, BS3TVLive.com, BS3 Network, Roku channel, iHeartRadio, wherever you consume podcasts, we are there. And also, you can follow me on all the social media platforms, most active on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, but also on TikTok and Blue Sky. All right. Well, I am excited, as always, to always welcome my next guest. She's been on the show a couple of times, so we always have great conversations. So it was only right to get her back on to end the year in 2025. She's been up to and everything, and just to kind of chat and conversate once again. But she's done a little bit of everything in the industry. She's a host, she's a reporter, she's anchored, producer behind the scenes. Now also she has a new podcast as well, the She Podcast, or SHE. We'll get into all of that as well. So welcome back to the show, Taylor Woods. What's good? How you doing?
Hey, glad to be back. Glad to see you. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm glad to have you on. Always enjoy our conversations. I think we connected sometime last year, maybe 2 years ago. Time has flown by over the last 5 years, but I know we've done a couple of episodes. So I'm excited to have you back on. So yeah, thanks for accepting the invite once again.
Of course. Thanks for having me, and thanks for the invite.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
You are always welcome on the show anytime. Every time I've asked you, we always connect, and you always we always get a chance to do this, and you never said no and everything too. So I don't take that for granted at all. And so I really appreciate the connection and the friendship that we developed over the last couple of years. So I really appreciate it.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah. So, but how's everything going with you and everything? I think the last time we talked was maybe March, I think, of this year. I think it was the last time. I think I was doing my Women History Month series, and you were part of that. So thanks again for doing that. But ever since then, you've been doing a little bit of a lot of different things. They got the new podcast, which you'll get into. You're reporting all those things. But how's everything going?
Everything's going great. Moved back home. So I was at a news station in Tennessee, WCYB. That didn't work out very well, but that's the name of the game. So moved back home and just trying to figure my life out, and definitely figure my life out within this industry.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Like everybody knows, it's hard to break into the sports world and to break into that industry as well. But, keeping my head down, grinding, continuing to perfect my craft, and just building my reporter reel to send that out to different news stations to, whatever hooks and reels, and
Yeah.
we're there. So yeah.
For sure. I'm glad, like you said, you moved back home, and we both know how this industry is. It can be competitive. It's tough, all those things. But the one thing I know about you for the last couple of years that I've known you, you'll keep, like you said, just keep working, keep grinding, keep pushing out there content and getting where you want to be. So, yeah, so many blessings to you on that. So I know you'll definitely, and I've been seeing you still doing some things too, like, some freelance stuff. And you said you started the podcast and all those things. So we'll get, like I said, we'll get into all of that as well. But talk a little bit about, like you said, the kind of transition of, you said, being in a studio, and do you want to get back to that, like getting in back into a studio? Do you want to do some more freelance reporting on the sideline?
Mhm.
What's the next thing you would like to do, or just get in maybe behind the scenes, social media stuff, whatever? What's the couple things you want to do heading into 2026?
Yeah, definitely. So it's funny that we're having this conversation because last night I went to dinner with a couple of friends, a couple of my
Mm,
girlfriends, and we were just, conversating, making convo, and career popped up into our conversation, and I was like,
mm,
guys, I had a revelation, um, and it's funny because I went to school for communications and PR. So I
yeah.
have my undergrad in communications with a minor in public relations. And then I also went to grad school for sport management. And so within that, I was like, I want to manage a team, I want to manage a player. Fell in love with the sport law class that I took in grad school. And I was like, wow, like this is probably something that I can do. But
Yeah.
then during my time there, I was participating in um, UCTV, which is UConn's like news network thing and they cover all the sports on campus. And so then that's when I got into the sport broadcasting role, and I was like, maybe this is something I can do. Everybody's been telling me I have such a bubbly personality. I speak well, I communicate very well. So that was something in my knowledge of sports, and so that was just something that I was like, okay, maybe I could do it.
Yeah.
So I went into you know when I got into WJLA, I was a production assistant and was like, okay, cool. I'm going to start working with the sports department. So I went out with them to like Ashburn, Commanders practices, Commanders games, did some reporting there. And I was like, oh, this is cool. I could probably do this. So then I built up my
Yeah.
reel and then was doing that. And then that's when I landed my first job at WCYB. And excuse me. And then, things happened there in Tennessee. And then I got this revelation and I was like, okay, I tried it. Maybe it's not for me. So I'm continually talking to God about, what's my next steps and for
Yeah.
him to order my steps continuously. And I got this revelation and I was like, okay, maybe instead of putting all my eggs in one basket, sort of saying what my mom always says, you always have to have a plan B. My plan
Mhm.
B is ultimately to go into communications, go into PR, potentially do management with a team or with a player. So now I'm
Mhm.
still wanting to do like the broadcasting side of things and the sideline analyst and all that um, good stuff. But
Yeah.
I think for me now, and with me about to be 28 next month, I am starting to wanting to be more concrete in my career and in my life. I want to have something that's concrete. And so with the ever changing world within media,
Yes.
it's so non concrete and non solidified with whether you have that job or not. And it's so ever changing. And I think that with that, I think I want to try to push my plan B a little bit more, sort
Mm.
of, and going into communications and I guess going into the behind the scenes, like you said before. Um, so that's where I am now.
Okay. Okay.
Still doing more, but still doing the freelance work of being a sideline reporter and pushing my podcast and things of that nature. So that's where I am. I got this revelation at 28 that I'm just like, let's try something else. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. No, I think that's and for those that are listening and those that would ask for advice, I think that's a good thing. As you said, you had a revelation on with this ever changing journalism and sport and media, just in general media, if it's sports news, whatever, it's always ever changing, it's always evolving, it's always moving parts with it. And we talked about this at length, I think, before in the last episode, last couple episodes we did about how much the landscape of media is.
Mhm.
It's and it's always we always see it on social media how it is changing. Things have changed from being in the newsroom to digital, and some outlets are all just digital. Then we have the video and the audio aspect of it, and everything too. But the one thing one of the things I did like what you said about being concrete and stable with that, and just trying to, you said not putting in, just concentrating on one thing. Said behind the scenes, and you've done a lot of things too, a lot of great things on top of that. You said you produced, you hosted, you've anchored. I remember you were reading off all the teleprompter. You was practicing on that. I remember that you had something like that. You said, okay, now I'm in front of the camera. I was behind it, and behind the newsroom. Now I'm in front of the camera. So you have the experience. So I'm sure, as you said, within God's plan, He will have something for you moving forward. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's where I am now, and just like I said, continually talking to God and asking Him to direct me and figuring out what it is. Because, like I said, 28, I want to have something concrete and salary-based job where it's not, because when I was at WCYB, it was hourly. Well, it wasn't. It was hourly. It was hourly. So I wasn't like getting a base salary.
Right.
And
Right.
with the economy now, it's like you have to have some type of income coming in.
Yeah.
And it has to. It just. It's not that I'm giving up on that aspect of my life or that career path. It's just, there's different stops on your journey. There's different stops that you can take. And I think for this stop, I think I want to sit down and focus on a real plan, a real solid plan for my career, instead of just continuously going on the train. Like it never stops. But I need it to stop for a little bit, just for a second. Let's just
for a second, right?
For a second.
Yeah, absolutely. That's. I mean, no, I was gonna say I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's good to, as you said, that train keeps going. I think we all have that mentality. We always have to go, 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 go. So you take a step back and say, okay, let me just take a breath. And it's hard in this industry. It's definitely hard because even like I've been doing this podcast for a long time. I want this podcast to just to continue to keep growing and pick up with somewhere and things like that. But you're right. I wouldn't want to. I would personally wouldn't want to see you stop or anything like that. So, but as you said, in God's time, you will. I know how big your faith is. And that's one of the things we both resonate with is letting God do His work. And we still got to put in our effort and things like that too. But you're right. Sometimes you got to take that step back and say, okay, where will God lead me? It can lead you to, like you said, maybe sports management, maybe another broadcasting position. And but I'm definitely sure you will. I'm speaking into existence. You'll find find what you're definitely looking for.
Thank you. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get into some of the things you have been doing. I saw that you were at the SASN presents the DMV hoops session preseason. You did that, about a week or two ago. They said at tournaments and things like that. So you're doing the reporting. So you say that's building your resume and your reel, things like that. So talk how you got into the SASN DMV hoop session and got to report on that.
Yeah, definitely. So SASN, the Scholar Athletes Sports Network, it literally happened so fast because I got home and I just didn't want to sit. Like I didn't want to come back and then just not do anything. So I was constantly on Instagram. And then I remembered that my friend Jalen Holmes, who's also a color commentator at American University for the basketball team, she worked with SASN, and I was like, let me just reach out. So I reached out to them and asked them, how can I be a part of this? Do they need any help? This, that, and the third. And they immediately got back to me and was like, yes, here, apply here. So it's an internship within Howard University. It's not like you don't get paid. This is an internship because it's for the Howard students to, if they're in their senior year of their program, you have to do an internship, or it just helps, it just boosts local students who want to go into broadcasting.
Right.
So that's great. Shout out to Chris Bryant. He started it. This is his thing, and he's been very helpful and very encouraging throughout this whole thing for me. Also, Daniel Harris. They have really helped me find, I guess, my joy in it, because I guess when I did get let go from the Tennessee job, I was in a space where I didn't think that this was for me and I couldn't do it. So I got a little bit discouraged. However, with me being within SASN, they've helped me find the love back in my voice,
Okay.
back in the storytelling, back in what I always thought that what I always loved within sports broadcasting was the storytelling,
Right.
connecting with different athletes, connecting with different sports networks, different sports teams, and things of that nature. And so, yeah, so I recently went to the DCSAA Class 2A championships football, where Eastern won, and that was a great old time. So I did that. Like you said, I did the media day for the PG boys basketball. So yeah, it's just really just honing in on perfecting my skill and perfecting my craft, while also being a mentor to those who are still juniors and seniors in college who don't know too much about the news sector. So just being that mentor for them to, if they have questions, whether it's how to write a VO, or how to insert a VOSOT, or how to perfect their scripts, and writing a script, helping them shoot on like during game days or things in that nature. Um, so yeah, it's really fun and I like it.
Yeah.
They have me going everywhere. So I think next week or this weekend, Saturday, I'll be going out to JMU for the VHSL championships. So that's gonna be a hoot. Can't wait for that.
Yep.
And yeah, it's just really fun. I'm just actually just having fun in it again,
Right.
instead of it being a job. It's actually just finding the fun in it again for me.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. That's the part when you were saying finding that joy back into it,
Mhm.
having that, having fun doing it, because you said we get sometimes in anything we get, we start doing things and we're just doing it, we're not enjoying it anymore, or it's a job, we make it as a job. But something like, with sports and things like that, it's supposed to be fun, it's supposed to be having a joy into it. And as you said, you do kind of, over the years you lose sometimes your joy in doing that. And I think we talked about this before too, about, still just trying to find that joy back into doing what you love to do. And also, you said how important internships are. That I think that was another point that you made too, about taking the internship, taking something like, yes, even though you're not getting paid for it, but you're enjoying it, and it gave you more, it gave you that confidence back, and you
Yeah.
said that voice, and also helping others getting to, because you said you've been doing this for a while, and now you're helping others trying to get into the industry, understanding how to camera, being, like you said, behind or in front of the camera, things like that. So I think it's a great opportunity just for yourself, but also helping others that are looking to, they look what you're doing and saying, wow, you know, Taylor's doing this. How does how was her journey? How was this? How was that? So you're actually probably don't even know, you're probably helping others get into it. Even you said taking an internship and then helping others try to get, want to get into this business as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely think it was a blessing in disguise for me to come
Hmm.
home and to find this internship so quickly,
Yeah.
and for me to be able to be a mentor to those who, since I've been in the newsroom for almost 2-3 years now. So it's just like whether I was behind the scenes or in front of the camera, I still have that knowledge of how the newsroom operates and
Yeah.
how to put on a newscast and how to produce a show and how to write a script, how to roll a teleprompter, how to, you know, insert different graphics and how to edit. So there's certain things within my position that I can help others, and that's why I think it was a blessing in disguise for me to have this,
Yep.
because I was just like all about self. But I think
Yeah.
working with SASN, it helped me be about self, but also helping others to come up within this industry. Because there's not a lot of internships like this that solely work on just straight broadcasting.
Yeah.
It's whether you're in, like, it's either you're in or you're out. And so that's why it's like I'm glad that SASN is around, especially within this area. There's so much to talk about in DC sports, Maryland sports, and Virginia sports that not a lot of news stations touch on, or they
Yeah.
try to touch on, but you have littler local outlets that are able to showcase, the talent that we have here within the DMV. And I think that was fun. And I wish I knew about it when I was in high school. I would have loved to
Right.
be on DMV, the DMV Gridiron, DMV Hoop Session, or just SASN as a whole.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've really been a blessing to me, and I can't thank them enough. Chris and Daniel, shout out to my girl Skylar and Greg and everybody that I work with so far. They've helped me grow in a sense, because I didn't have a journalism background, and for those that are in college now that are ultimately doing broadcast journalism as their majors, it helps me as well to ask them questions that they might learn in the classroom that I've learned in the field.
Yeah.
So it kind of coincides like that, like for them to learn stuff in the classroom from journalism professors and things of that nature for me, but then for them to also learn from me about the stuff that happens like on the field, like in
Yeah.
action, yes. So that's the fun part about it. I'm
Yeah.
having fun with it. So
Yeah, and like you said, and you talked about the storytelling aspect and how important that is. You're right. There's talent, especially in that the DMV area, that is untapped or doesn't get enough recognition, or and that space that you're able to, you said, to highlight that. And I know how important, over the couple of conversations we've had, how important storytelling is to you. So as you said, you get to highlight high school students, high school athletes in that area, and they get an opportunity from from the athletic side, but also, you said, from the broadcast side as
mhm.
well. You're right. I wish they had those those programs when I was growing up too. And I'm a little bit older than you are. Let's just say much older than you are. But no, not much older, but I am older. But still, but it's just like you said, so many opportunities now that the younger generation have, is with social media.
Yeah,
That's one good thing that social media can do, is give that, they have those opportunities. And you said your voice being back out there, helping others. You said get into the church, help them and be mentoring them
mhm.
as well. And like I said, highlight the athletes is very important. I know, like I said, storytelling is very important to you.
Yeah, and it is. It's and the thing with SASN is not just about going to these local schools and local games, or it's also about like what's going on in Maryland, like what's going on in Maryland within sports. So like
Yeah.
you get to do any type of stories that you want. Like you don't have to sit and wait for somebody to tell you, "Hey, I need you to go do this. Hey, I need you to go do that." If there's a story that you want to do, you do it, and that's just it. And I think that also helps me um, with the research aspect of
Mhm.
being a sports reporter anchor, because you have to research these things, you have to have the facts, you have to have the story to the key,
Yeah.
but you're also telling it from a different point of view, whether it's an athlete's point of view, but it's also from a journalistic point of view. And that's the cool part about it. Like, it's just free range. It just gives you free range. And that's so cool that you just get, it's like you're in control of your own destiny and in control of what you want to do and how you want your voice to be expressed there, and how you want it to be heard. But you're also speaking about important things that other people may not know, or they know about it but don't know too much about it. And yeah, that's fun. Like, I'm working on a story right now. I'm trying to get in contact with Curtis Malone, who founded DC Assault. I'm not gonna say too much because y'all will hear it.
Don't want to do it.
Founded DC Assault, ran into some trouble, and they went under the radar. They just went off the radar, off the grid for a while, and now they're back. And basketball season starting up, and the AAU sector is going to come back up, and so now they're back. And so doing that piece is going to be really, really fun to talk about, because my brother actually grew up playing. He played in Team Takeover, and we played against DC Assault. And so just from that point of view, was going to be fun, because my brother played in the AAU and the Summer League and all that stuff. And now I'm going to be actually talking about it. So I just can't wait to do it. And yeah.
I'm looking forward to, I look forward to whatever you got going on with it. So yeah, that should be, you said you getting your joy back in it. And, you said you just reset, and now like you said, okay, I'm ready to do what you do. So congrats on everything from that, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's before I let you go, we got to talk about the new podcast that was launched this last month, right? It was just launched a month ago. I came up on it. I said, okay, I'm always being into podcasts. I'm always listening to different podcasts, always looking for a lot of different podcasts. So SHE podcast, sports and hot takes every week. And you said you just launched it. Talk about the podcast, why you launched it. And now you're in this space with the podcast, and it's like, it seems like it's weekly. I listened to a couple of the episodes. Great podcast, by the way, too, and really enjoy the perspectives of everything too. But talk about the SHE podcast. They said sports and hot takes every week.
Yeah, definitely. So She podcast.
She podcast. I wanted to make sure She podcast got it.
She podcast, but we had to we had to differentiate ourselves.
Yes,
there's a lot of She podcast out there, but it's not like She podcast. It's sports hot takes every week. But me and my best friend, Danilo, we always we're always on the phone talking about the games, talking about what's going on First Take, what's going on 4th and 1, what Cam's talking about, what Stephen A is talking about. And we were just like, yo, we need our own podcast. Like, we have so many good insights, and we have so much to talk about, that we just need to just sit down and have a conversation where it's not scripted, and it just flows, because we have so much to talk about. And so we've been talking about it for years. And I think with me being in the journalistic headspace that I was in the last couple of months, I was like, okay, let's just start it. Let's just go. Let's just see what happens. So we came up with She, and we was like, okay, we need an acronym. So then it started off as sports highlights and entertainment. We was like, we don't want to talk about entertainment. We just want to stick to strictly sports and strictly what's going on in the games. We don't want to talk about what's going on behind the scenes. That's where stuff gets messy and controversial, and we're not trying to get canceled. So we was like, all right, we're doing this every week. We highlight different games. We highlight different things that's going on within women's sports, within NBA, within football, within track. We was like, okay, we highlight stuff, and we're girls. So it was like, all right, sports, hot takes every week.
I like that. Yeah.
And we're doing it from a woman's point of view, from the female voice, because we know that there's a lot of male dominant podcasts and they talk about sports, and a lot of people gravitate towards that. But there are also girls that love sports. Like there's
Absolutely.
girls that talk about sports. There's girls that played sports, females that play sports, and there's not a lot of podcasts or central locations where females can just express themselves and talk about sports. So we started it up and was like, let's go, let's do it. And so we do it every week. We meet on Tuesdays. We think about what we're going to talk about. We go through the script. And then we just start her up on Wednesdays. And yeah, that's how it started.
Okay, I like that. And like I said, when I came across it and from the bio, it said this is where women's voices lead the sports conversation for breaking news, hot takes, and everything in between. So you spotlight high athletes or what's going on, the biggest headlines in sports. And as you said, yes, just seeing women voices in the space, in the podcast, and able to express and have your, like I said, hot takes, opinions, what's going on with the games, maybe media, things like that. It is interesting. You said we have so many good conversations off camera, and you're like, well, why don't we just do this on camera? Like you said, phone calls and text and things like that, exchanges. Like, well, we can do this as a podcast. So yeah. I like that concept.
And it was cool because the different segments that we have. So our first one that we talk about is She News. So She News is everything women's sports.
Yeah.
So whether that's the WNBA, whether that's women within track and field, whether that's women in soccer, women's basketball, like we talk literally about everything that's happening within women's sports. And that's the first segment that we want to talk about because we want to give women the spotlight that they deserve.
Yep.
Because they really don't get a lot within media, whether it's always the extracurricular outside of what they're actually doing. So that's why we're like, okay, we want to highlight these women, and we want to highlight, specific women like a Sarah Strong or Paige Beckers or Lauren Betts or Hannah Hidalgo, like those things. And like, you may hear about them, but you won't literally like sit down and figure out like, oh my gosh, like Hannah scored 44 points. Lauren Betts dunked for the first time, or Sarah Strong, this is her fourth time scoring 20 points and the season just started.
Right.
And that's like the fun thing to talk about within women's sports. And then we go into our breaking news segment where we talk about everything breaking news within sports, whether that's Jaden Daniels just got hurt when he shouldn't even been in the game yesterday. So talk about a Zach Ertz that literally just tore his ACL. And it's just all these different things that, you may hear it from Stephen A. Smith, and that's probably where you might want to get your most of your information from, but we want to talk about it too. So and then we go into our hot takes, where we give hot takes, whether that's within NBA, NFL, whatever sports hot takes we have, we give it. Then we go into our predictions, which is something that we also love because we talk about college sports. We talk about NFL MVP. And that's just where we make our predictions, who we think is going to be in the playoffs, who we think is going to win it all for college football playoffs, who we think is going to go in the playoffs for the NFL. That's what we do. And then we go into our She Said What. So She Said What is where we find a juicy not caption, but a quote from somebody in the media, or somebody said some crazy outlandish stuff, and we unpack it, and it's just fun. We just have fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. I love that. That you're in the space and talking about, like I said, the up to date things, or because you said you have a voice and opinion, and you want to say, hey, I want people to know, like, this is the sports I love. This is sports I'm going to talk about, and in the news. And I love the rundown too, as you said. You just kind of highlight some, athletes or a team, and then you go through, say, your hot takes and news of the day and all those things. I like that. That's pretty cool. So yeah, so check out the podcast. Everyone like, subscribe. Where can they find it? And your YouTube and it's on all the platforms as well.
Yeah, so currently we're on YouTube, mainly on YouTube, and we're trying to start up our Instagram page, so you can follow us at Official She News Podcast. No, Official She Podcast. Yeah, at Official She Podcast on Instagram. And we're also on YouTube, She Podcast, S.H.E Podcast.
All right. Well, you already got the promotion how to do it, so you already did it. So yes, that's it. Yes, I've already followed on Instagram and subscribed and all those things. So yeah, you already have a listener in me for sure. And so follow, like, subscribe, all those things. Share, comment. Always, all that. So yes, you have the spiel already. So you already got the how to do it. So yeah, like, subscribe, and share all those things. So yeah, She Podcast on YouTube and Instagram page as well. All right, last one. Got to ask you about the Washington Commanders, and you kind of talked about that. Don't want to down the conversation, but we talked. You mentioned Jaden Daniels and everything too. Yeah, probably shouldn't have been out there. I know he wanted to play, but now re-injured, probably out for the season. Now it's hasn't been the best season, of course, but for the Commanders. But what'd you think of that? Now Zach Ertz out for the year. He's probably done for I don't know about his career, but he's up there in age as well, former Eagle. But the Commanders season just hasn't panned out like probably a lot of people expected. But what you think of the Commanders and putting Jaden Daniels out there and getting re-injured again?
I think it was a stupid call. I think it was a stupid decision to have him out there. They didn't have playoff implications. They were already knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they weren't knocked out, but it was it would have been good if they would have won the game, end on a high note. But they were 3-8. Nobody went to the playoffs with a 3.
Easily eliminated, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's just they shouldn't have had him out there because Marcus Mariota, he was playing very well. He played very well in the past couple of games that he was in or he started after Jaden went out, which I think that they just should have kept him out there. And I think they should have also gave, the players that don't start, the players that don't get in the game. This is our last game. Well, not last game, but it's a whatever game. Go out there, get some play time, get some field, whatever the case may be. But I think that they shouldn't have had Terry McLaurin out there. They shouldn't have had Zach Ertz out there. They shouldn't have had Jaden Daniels out there because those are your main three. They should not have been out there if you guys aren't really you're not in the hunt for anything. You're not in the wild card. You're not for sure in the NFC. So it's why were you out there anyway? And it's the name of the game. Players get hurt. Players, it's inevitable, but you can prevent it by not having them out there for no reason. And it just sucks for Zach, torn ACL. It looked pretty bad. It looked worse. I think today he's supposed to be getting some MRIs done and some X-rays and to see what actually is going on within his leg. And they're supposed to be putting out a statement about that soon. So I'll be watching on that to see what that's about. But yeah, it's sad.
It's just the year, just like you said, too many injuries on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively, and in that division. I mean, the year they had last year, you just seen they had good health most of the season. They get to the NFC Championship, so there was a lot of high expectations heading into this season, and it just, you said, injuries after injury after injury, and the team can only take so much with that. So now it's a reset. They just got to build now. They got to build on that defense for sure. get Jaden healthy, and for next year, as you said, now they're definitely eliminated. Now 3-9. So yeah, just wasn't the just wasn't. This was one of those years where just everything fell apart
Yeah.
for them, and so yeah, so next year, I guess they'll say, well, the next year is next year. It's like, as fans, you get tired of hearing that, so and everything. But he says the nature of sports, and when there's so many injuries and things like that. I'll tell you one thing, that coaching staff got to be very careful how they're handling a lot of these things, especially they're handling their franchise guy, the franchise quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
They got to be really, really, really careful. So it's going to be interesting the next few months to see what happens with the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, and even though I'm not a Commanders fan, I still like Jaden. I like Jaden.
Yeah.
But you're probably gonna hate me and probably never have me back on the podcast anymore because my team.
No, you're Cowboys, right?
I am.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness, I remembered that. Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, well we gotta talk about it. I'm an Eagles fan, big. I got my Eagles.
Yeah, we need y'all to lose. We need y'all to lose
tonight. Yeah,
yeah, we need you to lose.
Yes. Well, Cowboys. Their season's been so up and down. They losing to Detroit, that was a bad loss. But you guys were on a 2-game win streak, beating the last 2 Super Bowl champions and Eagles and Chiefs on Thanksgiving, and then beating the Eagles. Which they shouldn't have, but I'm not even gonna go there. That comeback was a good comeback for you guys. But now, as you guys said, you guys are on the outside. You guys have to win out, which is going to be tough as well. So that could be one of the. This is started out very slow, and now the record what it is. Unless the Eagles just bottom out, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Eagles tonight. But yeah, what you think of the Cowboys so far this season too? So up and down as well. Dak's been playing pretty well. Really well, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with everything else, what's going on? It's with the Cowboys, just very up and down. That defense is they've been getting torn up most of the season.
They suck. It's funny because, like you said, Dak is playing really well. He is coming out playing one of the best seasons he's had since he's been a Cowboy, and it's like, wow. And everybody hates it when I say it, but he's really in the run for the MVP. Like, a lot of people hate it when I say it, and I might be biased, but my best friend is going to hate me for saying this. But literally, he's playing some MVP ball.
Yeah. Yes.
Especially with, and then it's also sad because CD, he's out for I think 2 games with the concussion that he rendered when they played the Lions.
Yep.
We need him, and we have George Pickens, but you can't always rely on George. He's been doing great, but it's good to have those 2 wide receivers that you can go to and to have those options, because I know there's plenty of plays where there's either a CD or to George Pickens. So it's going to be interesting to see in the next game what we're going to do without CD. But I think our defense they're starting to grasp the concept a little bit. When they played against the Lions, they need to learn how to tackle. I think they need to go back to the fundamentals of football and learn how to tackle because that's the main focus on defense. You have to tackle.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, so there's a lot of, and this is what I said on my podcast. I was like, the Cowboys need to find a balance. They never have a balance on offense and defense. It's either the offense is playing well, the defense is playing bad. The defense is playing well, but the offense is playing bad. We just need to find that balance and that coherence on both sides of the ball. And I think that we will be a team to be reckoned with. Okay? But like I said, we need the Eagles to lose. So I'm hoping that y'all lose tonight. I'm praying on y'all down.
No, we can't. No, we don't have that on that podcast. We don't talk that on that, because the Eagles are on a 2-game losing streak now. The year that they've had, there's been so much with everything, the inconsistencies of the offense, and defense was playing well for stretches, and now they got torn up last week on Black Friday. And now everybody's got to step up now because it's just one of those. It's been one of those years. And I had I was talking to someone. They were saying, "Well, you guys are still in first place." It's like, yeah, but it hasn't looked good. And heading into now, can the Eagles turn around? Sure, yeah, sure. They definitely can. I mean, they are the defending Super Bowl champions, so we definitely could do that. And Jalen can have one of those. Okay, now it's time to step back up. Let's get it going and everything too. This offense shouldn't be as bad as it has been with that talent that they have. But Saquon's not having a bad year. The offensive line has been decimated with injury. The play calling's been bad. And there's been turmoil on. It's just has been a lot. So it's but they're still sitting 8-4. That's the craziest thing. So yeah, this is a big game for Philly because they got to get back. They got to try to get back on track. But they're playing the Chargers tonight, and they're also trying to get into the playoff race too. So yeah, it's so we'll see. With the Cowboys losing, I was like, okay, so yes, okay.
Y'all have some breathing room. But
yeah, we got a little bit, not much, but Cowboys they're still in the mix, so it can't. And
the rest of our schedule is pretty easy, sort of say. I think the game that we were really honing in on was the Lions, but I think next we have. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I know we have the Commanders and the Giants. So
right. Yep, you guys got Minnesota at home. You guys are at home. The Chargers at home, and then you end the season with the Commanders and Giants. So yeah, that's a stretch. Vikings depends, but the Chargers is the toughest matchup.
That is going to be our next toughest matchup. But yeah, I do think that we'll pull it out. We'll pull out. We'll fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got to try to win out. You guys got to actually win out and get help for sure. We have to collapse. I just hope we don't. But because I know we have Chargers tonight. We got the Raiders next week, and then we got the Commanders, Buffalo Commanders to end the season. So, our schedule's not tough. I mean, Buffalo for sure, but those other games which should be wins, but you just never know. You never know. You never know. It's football, NFL. So
but that's what's going on in this season, this season now. It's you never know. Every division is literally up for grabs.
Yes. Yep.
And that's the fun part about sports is last season, everything was the Eagles, but now it's who is really going to be in this Super Bowl? And it's every division is up for grabs, and that's the fun part about it. And I just can't wait. Tonight's gonna be fun. The rest of the season is gonna be fun. And
unpredictable. It's been an unpredictable season, as you said. Pittsburgh yesterday looked good, and then the week before they were terrible. And Baltimore, who nobody wants to win that division, and because I know the Bengals, everybody was pulling for the Bengals. It's they're going to go on this run, and they lose. So now their playoff hopes are probably done. They said you got the Denver dominating, New England's dominating, but can we trust either of those teams? We don't know. Chiefs now they're on the outside looking in. So it's Buffalo, they looked really good yesterday, so they're still always in the mix. It's unpredictable. And then in the NFC, as you talked about, it's the top of the top is now the Rams are back at the top. You got Green Bay, you got Philly, you have Chicago looked good, and then now they took a step back. Now they dropped to I think 7th. Now they were first a week ago, and now they're 7th in the race. So because all the division and everything, Tampa Bay they look shaky now, but in a bad division.
Yeah, and the Patriots too with Drake May.
Yeah, Drake May. Yes.
Big things. I love that.
Yeah, big things. It's very unpredictable. This has been one of those years. It's wow, we just don't know. So it's exciting. Houston's getting hot at the right time. So so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. This last month of the season. looking forward to see what happens. But Taylor, it's always a pleasure chatting with you. It's always good catching up with you. So like I said, many blessings, best of luck with everything you got coming up as well into the new year. So happy holidays to you and your family. Happy New Year, all those things. And but let everyone know where they can actually follow you. Want to reach out to you and chat or whatever. And also you said with the podcast as well.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Real Taylor Woods. That's also my ex name. And please follow us and subscribe to She Podcast, S.H.E Podcast on YouTube and also on Instagram at Official She Podcast. Thank you so much, Courtney, for having me on. So fun.
Yes. Anytime, anytime. Like I said, I really appreciate anytime I ask you to come on, and we always have a great time chatting. I always have a good time talking with you, and you said you always are game with it. Like I said, I don't take that lightly. I really appreciate it for sure. Every time. So like I said, the invitation's open and always. So anytime you want to chat, let me know. And like I said, I always appreciate it. So thank you again. And so happy holidays to you and your family as well.
Thanks to you too.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.